All right, testing, testing, one, two, three, testing, testing. Okay, so we're going to call this one part three. And in part three, we're going to talk about synchronicity. And this is going to lead to a class, as I mentioned in the earlier parts, that we're going to have many classes leading up to the actual October 25th, Saturday, October 25th, Beyond Human 2025 Superhuman event. And these different classes are going to be taking morsels from the different superhuman classes over the last 12 years, parts that we necessarily don't have to talk about in class, even though we could, and give you some details about it and strategies of how to implement it. So, for example, synchronicity. Some of you all have seen, for example, triplicates, duplicates of numbers in, let's say, for example, time. Like you may wake up, it's 111. You may look at it, see 222, 333, and so on and so forth. Right now, if you look online, they talk about angel numbers and all the other stuff and everything else, right? Not saying that there's no relevancy to that, but it's way, 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 way deeper than that. And so this goes akin to into terms like manifestation, right? But we're going to call it synchronicity. You are synchronizing with the realm, and there are strategies and very specific things you can do to break yourself out of sync. So let's say, for example, you are in a bad sync or routine in your life. To break yourself out of that genuinely, to create a new path, or to, let's say, bring yourself into a certain level of sync with the path that you prefer. It does take work, but it's a clear path to it. And many who have been coming to the Metacenter over the years, see, these are the things that we talked about in our classes, right? Again, the superhuman classes, we had them once, twice a year for 12 years. And this subject matter is what we talked about and much, much more, right? Again, we're not just talking about stuff you can find on the internet. These subjects were subjects that you can Google. You want to, for the most part, most of it, you're not going to find any information about it at all, right? And so it gave people pretty much, not only were they on the cutting edge, but it gave them information before it hit the public. But now that's over with. It's done, right? So there are certain things taking place behind the scenes, not necessarily just with the Metacenter, but behind the scenes in our collective experience. And because of some of the antics that are taking place, it's just time, right? So I would say pay attention to the website. It's not going to cost you anything, regardless if you come to the superhuman class or not. You can still get the jewels. And so pay attention to the website, because I can't tell you an exact day, because many of you know that I am, not only do I'm at the center, but I do work outside the center, and I'm in school. I'm in engineering school, right? So it's pretty a heavy load, and so I'm not as consistent with classes and things like I would like to be. But as we say, right, it just is what it is at this time. So when you see a class pop up on that calendar, when you go to the website, metacenterchicago.com, you scroll to the bottom, you'll see a calendar. You can scroll into the future of that calendar, and you can see, whatever classes and things that may be popping up. I have not scheduled anything past, into the new year yet. So I start to do that typically in December, classes and events and things for the following year. But so let's go back to this next official class, the first official class, bringing us to Superhuman or Beyond Human 2025, the Superhuman event. It's going to talk about synchronicity. I'm going to show you proof. You say, proof of what? Some of you have had situations or experiences, let's call it, that, for example, right, you would think of a person, and all of a sudden that person calls you. You may think of a person that you haven't talked to in years, just randomly, so-called randomly, right? And a second later, they call you, or they send an email, or they send a text. Or you just feel that the phone is about to ring, and literally within half a second later, it rings. You've had dreams about a real life scenario, and then when you, upon waking, or sometime throughout your day, that scenario takes place. When many of these type of situations happen, we can tell people about it, but we, in most cases, don't have proof of that scenario taking place. Well, I have proof. And so shout out to all of you also. Many people who have been coming out to Supreme events, they got this, they know what I'm talking about, and they've seen it. Well, when was that? 6 years ago? So sometimes these experiences, and many times these experiences that we have like that are meant for us. Okay, they're not necessarily meant to be captured for social media. Okay, they're meant for you. But due to the times that we're in and so forth, it has allowed us to be able to capture circumstances and situations that normally will only be talked about in lore or myth and so forth. You get what I'm saying? So when we get into our conversation about synchronizing and synchronicity and manifestation, because they're all related, they're all in the same bowl, in that same mixing bowl as we cook up our meal, right? So you're going to see proof of something, and then I'm going into deeper detail about how to implement certain synchronicities within your life. And this is facts. Many of you know for years, many of you have been around us for years, you know of the people that I talk about who come to the center, who, life was a certain way, and they ended up, life has completely changed for the better, right? Well, you're going to see 100% a part of how that took place. And before I get off here, what I also would like to mention, shout out to everyone who is keeping their mind straight, who is not crashing out. Because think about it. All of us, including myself, can crash out at any moment, right? We all have that capability to crash out. Like everyone has the capability of being a thief, right? Of stealing something. Everyone has the capability of doing a whole load of activities, but we choose not to. And so in these times that we are in, it is very stressful for a lot of people. And in that stress, some people feel that the only option available for them to do is to crash out. And it's quite interesting when we talk about crashing out, right? Because when a person crashes out, it's typically in a very negative way, right? So they're doing something that typically is not good for them and or is not good for the people around them, right? So why can't people crash out in a positive way, right? In a way that, this is something to think about. Why can't people crash out in a way that brings joy, harmonious activity, and happiness to themselves and their family and friends and so forth, the collective community around them? Why can't people crash out in that way? You get what I'm saying? Why is it always one very specific way? So, anyhow, shout out to all of you all who have the option to crash out, right? Things may be extremely stressful, and everyone may agree with you that, hey, you should crash out, but you're not. You still don't, because it's just something, you feel it. There's just something you may be missing. It's maybe a bit of information here, maybe a key to something there. And if you get that, it's a done deal. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you for keeping on, even in a time when there are those around us that want to make it seem that it's hopeless. It's not hopeless at all. Not even a little bit. This goes into another conversation that we can have about a character on social media. I'm not going to even say the person's name, because the person doesn't even, it's such a tripped out situation. It's such a situation that it's not, the blame is not even on this person. The blame is on the community itself for keep incentivizing and keep sponsoring, because really what the community is doing is sponsoring buffoonery, these kind of characters, right? So there's a character who, for like 15 to 20 years, somewhere in there, maybe 17 years, maybe 16 years, maybe 18 years, right, has been promising to have a school for the purposes that this person said they was going to have a school for, okay? And the person used to wear a suit and tie, and the person is a very good speaker, right? When I first came across this person many years ago, I was like, okay, what the person was saying, I'm not a follower of that person, right? I didn't like keep tabs on everything they were doing, but when it did come across my feed, when someone did bring it to my attention, and I did see what the person was talking about, those clips and some of those lectures and things of this nature, it was good stuff, talking about young black children, specifically boys, being misdiagnosed in the school system, which is true. And the person was put on a good fight to not only educate the community, but to also help this marginalized community's children. Again, that's extremely honorable. You know what I'm saying? It's extremely honorable. So the person over time kept asking for donations, over and over and over again. And some people, like I said, I don't have all the exact information. I'm not that invested. But in doing some quick searches, people are saying this person was donated over $1 million. Let's say that's true, okay? For many, many, many years, for over 10 years, and it kept going, people started to call this person a fraud in a scammer, because there was no evidence of this school at all at that point in time. So people started to eventually get so irate, they started to even question this person's credentials. They were calling the alleged school that he graduated from, and found out it was true. He did graduate with the credentials that he graduated with, and it was bewildering people. They're like, "What the hell?" You know what I'm saying? The community is giving you tons of money, even though there are people such as the Metacenter and many others who have been out here doing the work for decades, and so you don't have to gamble on what if someone's going to do something or not. There are tried and true people around. Like, for example, that I'm the godson student, friend to who was a father figure to me, which is Dr. Delbert Blair, right? And he was doing his thing since 1973. I've been running the Metaphysician, for 12 years. And so someone say, well, was it Dr. Blair around then at that point? Yes. You know what I'm saying? At about 2 years before he passed, because there are certain things that we knew behind the scenes, I started to take over and run things and so on and so forth with his mentorship and so forth. So there are tried and true places around. You know what I'm saying? But let's go back to the story. So this person still was asking for donations and everything else. People start to call, I think, the FBI, whatever it may be, because this person pretty much, allegedly, from what the community was saying, is running a scam, right? Like many others within, especially the black community, okay? Even though other communities have the same thing going on as well, we're talking about, in this case, the black community, right? The so-called black community, right? So eventually this person bought a building, and to this day, the building is not open for sessions, school sessions. And in fact, over the last few weeks, it's been more so talked about how now the building is possibly going to be auctioned off by the county because of back taxes or whatever it may be that need to be paid. So it's a little interesting when you're driving, right? So I'm on the road driving quite a few hours here, and you'll get a person who will be in the fast lane going slower than those in the slower lane. And there's everybody going around them, everybody blowing. You know what I'm saying? And it's completely oblivious to the world around them, or just not caring at all about the fact that they're inconveniencing hundreds of people, sometimes maybe even thousands of people that are all backing up behind them, and so on and so forth, right? And that is the nature of the reality, or at least a portion. It's the nature of the portion of the reality that we all dwell in, and you have to accept that. Accept reality for what it is. That's lesson number 2. Accept reality for what it is. It's not that you're accepting it in the sense that you are enjoying it. It's not that you're accepting it in the sense that you truly accept it in your inner being. You're just accepting what reality is showing you, instead of putting some type of filter on top of that, okay, which most people do. Like some people look at people and say, I look at the good in people. Well, what you're actually doing is taking a person, instead of accepting with the raw data that the person is showing you of who they are, instead what you're doing is taking the filter of I see all the good in people and putting that on top of that person. But what if the person's data is showing that they are maybe a fraud or a scammer, like in the conversation I'm having about this character who the community has sponsored their lifestyle. So let me go back to that character. So the person opened up a school and everything else. Many people have speculated that the reason why this person opened up a school, because this person was probably going to be criminalized. You know what I'm saying? For fraud. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like a quick move to do to satisfy that aspect, so he could not be potentially prosecuted or just outright being fraudulent. You get what I'm saying? So that's ongoing with that situation, and it was quite disappointing. This situation overall is quite disappointing. Why is it disappointing? Because number one, people are hoping for this positive things to take place, right? And you have a character who speaks well, and he wears a suit, because for the most part, in a lot of communities, especially the black community, if you speak well and you're willing to put on a suit, for the most part, that does it. That's all it takes. Like right now I'm wearing a button up. Many times this is not enough. I can't wear a polo shirt. I can't just be. You get what I'm saying? Can't just be a normal human. I have to fit an archetype. Okay? And remember that for a future class, right? Because this does go into the superhuman. There's a archetypal portion of the superhuman course that I'm going to pull out, and we're also going to have a class about it. And you are going to really like that. That class is going to come after the synchronicity class, okay? So I'm going to try this upcoming week. Right now it's Sunday, August 31st. I'm going to try this upcoming first week of September to do the synchronicity class, okay? So again, stay tuned to that. And let me know, of course, for YouTube, we got to do it. If you're enjoying this conversation, if you want more conversations like this, please like, please subscribe, and also leave some comments in the comments section to let me know. And if you have any questions or comments or something you want to add, leave it there, and I will read it when time permits. So, going back to the situation that we're talking about here. So, again, it's quite a shame. It's quite sad, because what it does is people are hoping for something, right? And this is something that could easily be done. I'm going to give you the whole spiel, how easy it can be done. And so you can see how deeply many of you were scammed. Okay? I mean, literally, how you were taking on a roller coaster, okay, on a ride, okay, and it led to nothing. So the devastating aspect of it is the fact that people are hopeful, and there's nothing wrong with being hopeful. And that hope is just thrown in the trash. You get what I'm saying? And it makes people not want to engage in other opportunities that are real opportunities that can uplift and bring hope. You get what I'm saying? And that's by design. That's what they're supposed to do. That's literally, in many cases, that's what their agenda is. They are wolves playing the part as if they're sheepdogs. You get what I'm saying? Sheepdogs can go head to head with a wolf. You understand? You know what I'm saying? And so they're playing the part as a sheepdog to protect the flock. But they're not a sheepdog. They're wolves, right? And the wolves are all around these every community, okay? Because the reason why I say every community, I'm not just focusing on blacks, is because humanity, when we say humanity, right? Humanity is not just the blacks, okay? When we say humanity in the term of what it means to be human, again, humanity, we're not just talking about black people when we say humanity. I get it. There are extremists in all these communities, right? They want it to just be, black power, blackness, these extreme black positions that are not truth, because truth has no color. You get what I'm saying? But that's a deeper conversation that many are not ready for. So let's go back to it. So it's devastating. It crushes future hope, and that's by design. Okay? So let me tell you how easy it is to set up a after school program. Okay? I'm going to go through it right now. Now, what I'm about to say may not fit your mold. And I highly suggest that you do not follow what I'm saying word for word. Okay, because I'm just doing a quick version of it. There are better possible ways of doing what I'm saying. So let's say, for example, a lot of people who open up businesses and such do not, let's assume that, let's put some criteria here, that in this case, this person did get donated over $1 million. A lot of people who set up a business, mom and pops types of businesses, small businesses, do not have $1 million to throw toward it. They may have 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand. They may have only $5,000. You get what I'm saying? So they started with the bare minimum, and they are putting forth their best foot forward for their dream, right? Where their dream deals with them, where their dream deals with community, and so forth. So first off, starting with $1 million, that is so much energetic input toward the success of that endeavor that you have to actively be working against it for it to fail. So that's number one. So the capital is there, number one. So now, one of the first things, of course, there are things that are going behind the scenes, but I'm going to go over primary criteria to open up an after-school program or many other businesses. Right now, what I'm going to tell you, I've been running business for years. People have come to the center and have booked consultations on the website to literally bounce things off of me and work out certain details so that they can open up their business. This has happened dozens and dozens of times. People have come to the center and literally opened up businesses and stuff, okay? So, even on the Patreon, our membership site, right? Patreon.com/themetacenter. In the level 3 membership level, you could bring forth your business idea or product. It's mainly centered around products or services, ideally products, and I will show you step by step how to source the product and everything. There are literally people up there who have done it. The calls are still up there that you can listen to, and that's still available even today, even as I say this, right? So there are people in the community, in your community, in our community, who are putting their best foot forward, who do want to see you successful. And so you don't have to gamble, even though business is somewhat of a gamble. That's why you want to make sure you are educated in certain areas and Like there are even areas right now that I'm still educating myself in, getting better in myself. You want to keep having it happen to keep upping your odds of success. So first, right? So you have this business idea, you open up an after-school program, and I'm going to format this based on that particular person, so you can see how much you were scammed. Okay? You can literally go on Craigslist right now, and let's say I go to chicago.craigslist.org, and I go to the office tab, the office link. Okay, real estate office link, and there's a button there. How much square foot you looking for? So, for example, with him, if he would have came to the Metacenter, and this could have been a private conversation that is never spoken about publicly, and said, Tony Vortex, people have donated me over $1 million. I want this to be a success. It doesn't have to be some Black Power movement kind of stuff. You say, why not? Why not Black Power? Because just the fact that a black man is doing something so honorable for the community by itself, that is revolutionary by itself. He doesn't have to have a black, green, and red flag. He doesn't have to do any of that. He don't have to say Black Power. He doesn't do any of that. Just because he's a so-called black man who has his head on right, who is putting his best foot forward. He's a good speaker. He wears suits and ties, right? He is trying his best to look after some of the most vulnerable people in our community. That by itself is so revolutionary. It speaks volumes. You don't have to do anything else other than that. You get what I'm saying? See, this is what I call, what many you've heard me talk about in many podcasts as real talk, right? It's no fluff. It's straight at you. It's undeniable. It's completely understandable. I don't have to woo you with big words. I don't have to try to finesse you by saying or talking about subject matter in riddles to make it seem like I'm so grandiose that the only way you'll be able to understand anything that I'm saying is to make sure you hit that donation button. You dig what I'm saying? So, I go on, let's say a site like Craigslist. Now, and I put in, let's say I go to the real estate office tab, and let's say this person asks me, like, what should I do? When I want to open up this big school, I got some funding, should I do that? I would say, no, you shouldn't do that. There are still bugs in your process. What do you mean there's bugs in my process, man? You're saying, I got this hashed out. Look at this, X, Y, Z. And I would say, yeah, but there's going to be some ABCs that you don't even know is going to come up. We could talk about stuff all day long, possibilities all day long, and we will still miss something. And that's a fact. So there's going to be things in your process, no matter what you're doing, anybody who's listening to me, that no matter how long you think about it, you're just going to miss it. And it's okay. It happens to all of us. It happens to anyone who opens up a business, okay, of any sort. And that's why you try to have people who are knowledgeable around you, people who are professionals around you, so it could limit the things that you may not know. And hopefully those things that come up that you don't know, because still there's things going to come up that you just do not know, no one knows, are not going to be devastating to your process. You get what I'm saying? It'll just be little bitty things that don't, it's not going to cost you a lot of money. It's not going to cost you a lot of legal things or marketing things, so on and so forth, right? So, going back to Craigslist again, chicago.craigslist.org, right? I go into the office real estate tab. I put in, so this person comes to me and says, I'm opening a school. I would say, don't do that. I would say, this is the first time you're doing something like this. So I would ask, have you done anything like this before? No. Okay. This is the first time you've done anything like this. Let's start smaller. You got $1 million. You got a lot you can play with. Okay. So let's open up so in that tab, I'm going to put 3,000 square feet. So we're going to open up a 3,000 square feet office at first in a decent area. You don't want to be in a crime-ridden area. You want it safe for your people to come to, right? Now, you don't want to be so far from your people that it would take a lot of effort for your people to come to either. Okay, you want to be in a situation where people could come to get to you reasonably, And it could be safe. You know what I'm saying? Where they don't have to worry about getting shot. They don't have to worry about being robbed. You get what I'm saying? But not so far away that they have to, like they're traveling on literally on a mission across the world to get to you either, because that will possibly limit the amount of people that you could have enrolled. So let's say, for example, 3,000 square feet. That 3,000 square feet in a decent area, let's say, will cost you $3,000 a month. Okay, $3,000 a month. A lot of offices, especially in the Chicagoland area, most of them you don't have to do too much work to. So the work that you'll be doing will be your own personal aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? Your own personal artwork and stuff like that, right? So $3,000, let's say, to add TVs, to add smart screens, right? So smart boards and stuff like that. Let's say to add office tables and chairs, computers, projectors. Let's say all of that ended up costing you $50,000. Remember, you got over $1 million in donations, and because people are seeing you're putting your best foot forward, donations are coming in even more. You dig what I'm saying? Even more. Because again, remember, you wear suits. You're a good speaker. You know, you're getting more donations than the Metaphysician would ever get. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, people feel some kind of way sometimes about this and that, right? We're talking about metaphysics, right? You know, even though we do feed the homeless, even though we do look out for the vulnerable, you know, people, you know, again, I'm not wearing a suit and tie. Maybe I should put on a suit and tie now. So maybe you are going to see me with a suit and tie later on, right? So, you know, you're not going to see me as the Vortex in the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? You see it with a suit and tie on. You know, maybe that's how I need to break the Matrix a little bit, right? So nevertheless, because I'm saying that because the Metaphysician could use your support. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I'm saying it, right? The Metaphysician legitimately can use the support. It's a lot of things. We put on all type of science, technology, engineering, and math programs completely for free. It doesn't cost anyone a dime to come in. Okay? Just come in and you can learn these things. We do tech classes first Friday of every month. We have all kinds of course, some things do cost, like we travel across the U.S., travel to sacred sites, all kinds of other things as well. So we have folks field trips and things as well. And we've been doing this stuff for 10 years. Going on 10 years now, right? All the proof is on the website, testimonials on the website. We can use your help, right? So let me go back to how to set up an after-school program that your people could be proud of, right? If I was that person who's a very good speaker, I wear suits and ties, I have the credentials. You get what I'm saying? And I'm looking out for the most vulnerable who are amongst us, because I'm a sheepdog. Okay, I'm a sheepdog, right? So with that, one moment here. Okay. So with that, so 3,000 square foot office, right? Let's say it costs $3,000 a month, right? Maybe a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? But depending upon the area and so forth, right? $50,000 in accessories added to it, right? So now we at about, $53,000, right? You're going to need also insurance, okay? So you're going to need insurance, possibly two types of insurance. General liability, okay? That's for the place itself, okay, to protect the actual infrastructure itself and the things in it from fire, all kind of stuff. And also you may need professional liability, okay? Professional liability protects you, okay, for some of the things you may speak and so on and so forth, right? So you may need both of those. That's not much. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, okay? So we talk about insurance. We talk about the office itself. Teachers. I would get about four part-time. Remember, this person has credentials, right? So this person could teach what they're going to teach within their curriculum as well. But then I would have 4 part-time teachers, right? So 4 part-time teachers on salary. You got more than enough money to do it. And it would leave way more because your money also is earning interest in the bank, okay? And you're a non-for-profit, right? So you're not paying taxes, or depending upon what non-for-profit you're not paying taxes, or you're paying very little taxes. And then there are all types of donations you can get from major corporations and things of this nature to even outfit your office with all types of things and all types of programs and things that you can be linked with, because you're doing a revolutionary thing that's very positive and honorable. There are honorable people still amongst us. There are even honorable secret societies amongst us that like to put forth money toward those types of endeavors. It's kind of needle in a haystack kind of thing at this point. Where are you? Where are you? We're looking for you. So I'm going to continue on here. You see how easy I'm putting out the plan here, right? I'm doing this right here as I'm driving across the country right now, right? So, and you see how easy it is. It's not taking me long at all to lay out the whole thing in front of you. So the fact that it's not done, you were scammed. Okay? So, from that point, 4 teachers, that maybe a math teacher, because our people need to do better in math, a science teacher, so a math teacher, a science teacher, maybe a history teacher that may focus on, let's say, so-called Black or African American history, right? And one who maybe is a health teacher. So we have a math teacher, we have a science teacher. Now science can be / tech teacher, right? A history teacher, and a health teacher. Okay, one who gets into maybe when I say health, I'm not talking about conspiracy, that kind of stuff. I'm talking about like a nutritionist. You know what I'm saying? And then of course that person themselves that we're talking about has credentialed themselves. So that's 5 heavy hitters that the donations of over $1 million. These teachers are part-time. Okay, they're not full salary teachers. So it's not costing you an extreme amount. And each of them presents a curriculum based on, again, the head person that we're talking about, the vision that they have. And it's done. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So we got teachers. We're insured. We're insured. Girl, y'all, people out here are driving crazy. Okay? I mean, get out the way. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Again, we got a lot of people going, I'm only going 70 miles an hour, and this in the highway I'm on is 70 miles an hour. And these people are going like 50 in the fast lane. Come on, man. And they look so bewildered, like they're in another space and time. Come on, man, we're flowing here, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let's flow. So we're talking about a few things here, right? Insurance. We got the insurance. We got the space. And it's not any conspiracy stuff, man. You got decent credit? Are you a criminal? You say, no, I'm not a criminal. You got decent credit? Cool. You got the money? Yes, I got the finance. This is not... You all who sometimes create situations in your own head. It's not a lot to open up a business. If you're putting your good foot forward, especially if you have the finance, you're not a criminal or going to engage in criminal activity. So you're not a criminal and not going to engage in criminal activity. You can open up a business, okay? No one's barring you from doing that. A lot of the stuff that you hear on social media is extremists trying to put you in or paint you into a corner so that you are angry at the world and you're angry at other kinds of people to cause friction. In your washing machine, right? You have the agitator in the middle, right? And this agitator in the middle of your washing machine helps to... Watch out. Vehicle on shoulder ahead. It helps to get the dirt and grime off your clothes by agitating it. Okay? That's what these people are. They're here to agitate you. Okay? Don't be agitated. Don't allow them to do that to you. Like I said, we're breaking the matrix. Their time is over. And hopefully you feel that. And hopefully you see that. Now, we've been here. This is information that I'm telling you been known. The Metacenter is located at 4606 West 103rd Street in Oak Lawn, Suite B. You can come visit us. Okay? So going back to the situation. We opened up, okay, so I'm that person, right? The person came to the Metacenter. We had a consultation. I'll be laying this out to them, right? As I have for many other people who have come before. So you are insured. You're insured. You got the teachers. You got the office. The office is nicely furnished in your vision. You have the curriculum. Now let's talk about CPAs, because you want a good CPA, right, that specializes in non-for-profits, and specifically possibly educational, than what you're doing non-for-profits, right? Because there are tax benefits that a CPA would know, not just a bookkeeper. Okay, bookkeepers may be cool in certain respects, but a CPA has done a lot of schooling that a bookkeeper has not done, okay, to obtain that CPA, to be a certified public accountant, to know the ins and outs, so that you can greatly benefit from it. So you hire a CPA. In many of these, because you are a nonprofit, the CPA may give you a reduced rate. On top of that, right? Legal counsel. You have an attorney. Shout out to the Attorneys Guild. At one point in time, I really wanted to be an attorney. At one point in time, unfortunately, life didn't go that way, right? Where it wasn't a path that I could have went through at that time, right? But I really wanted to be an attorney, you know what I'm saying, for quite some time. I even studied quite a bit, where I was even going to go to a state. I was studying the bar exam without even going to school to study, study law, how the typical path is, right? I was just going to study legal principles, and I was studying different aspects of the bar, and I was going to go to like a state like Wisconsin, because some states allow you just to take it. You don't have to go to school, because a lot of states have it where you have to go to school to be qualified to take the bar exam. But there are states that don't require that. There's a few states still around that don't require that, or they require just an apprenticeship, where you just, which is the old way of becoming a doctor or even a lawyer, which I'll get into here in a moment, right? So I personally was studying on my own, to studying legal concepts and studying the questions and things in mock bar exams, and I was doing quite well at that. But of course, law is a heavy subject, and I was going to go to Wisconsin to take the bar exam. Okay, you learn something new. Okay, who knows? Still, life is still going on. May still do it, but at this time, I'm in school for engineering. Right, and I'm doing well. For those who want to know, I'm doing well. A's every semester at this point. So your brother here, who's trying to put his best foot forward, is doing well. With all the other things I'm doing as well. Right, so it is a lot. All right, I get no sleep. Okay, so let's continue on. So before I even go back to it, for those who don't know, in the past, even to become a medical doctor, you weren't spending 12, 15 years of your life in higher education, okay, to get that doctorate. What you would do is you would pretty much take on an apprenticeship, and you would be with someone who's already in that role, and over the course of many years, you will be learning hands-on. Think about this. Now you say, well, no, so right now, right, that's kind of boggling the mind. Some of you did not know that. And also to be an attorney was the same thing. And some of you did not know that. And let me give you a scenario. Which one would you prefer? You got two people. One who book studied. They're a smart person now. They're smart. But it was all about cramming massive amounts of information in their mind over the course of a decade, 10 years. Massive amounts of information in their mind, right? The IQ has to be a bit of a higher IQ, because and the memory has to be most definitely on point, because it's just about cramming information. 10 years of that. Or a person who found an apprenticeship and tagged along with multiple doctors, a doctor, or over their period of 10 years, other medical professionals, and they learned hands-on for 10 years. So let's say from the age 20 to 30, you have two people. One person who was an apprenticeship of a doctor, and another person who was book studying for 10 years. And then they both they go into practice. Which one would you prefer to be your physician? I know which one I would prefer. I would prefer the one that had hands-on experience next to a qualified doctor, medical doctor, for 10 years over the person who just studying books. And guess what that also means? It means that you don't have to be a genius to qualify for that apprenticeship. You get what I'm saying? And that's how many of the doctors who have changed medicine, many of the attorneys who have changed the legal field, many of the professionals of the past, that's how they became those professionals, that way. It was not the way it currently is. The way it currently is, it does not have to be this way. That's a side note, okay? And I can go into another rant about that at a later time. So we talked about having now a CPA on board. We talked about how having legal counsel on board, right? So you have your accountant, you have your attorney, you got your part-time teachers, you got the office, you got insurance, you got your business license from your local municipality. Again, getting the office, they have to inspect it, stuff like that. That's no big deal at all. It's just the things people do. Don't let anybody scam you. Don't let anybody try to farm files in the municipality. Try to extort you for money, okay, just to do what they're hired in their job role to do. You get what I'm saying? Like, for example, what do I mean by that? Because there are wolves all over the place, but there's also some sheepdogs too, right? So what do I mean by that, right? Okay, you're about to sign your lease, and of course, there's the what's the word that I'm looking for? It'll lose me right now. But anyhow, you put in it's an addendum to that you will follow through with this lease based on the approval of the inspection. So what you do at that point, you schedule your inspection, your fire inspection, and so forth, right? The fire chief or the fire inspector comes through. They inspect your space, right? And you're not going to be extorted, right? Now there's a lot of corruption and criminality going on in some places, right? Where they want you to, personally hit them off with some extra, punnets, to inspect your space. You report that nonsense. This is their job. You know what I'm saying? You all can't allow corruption to take place, man. You know what I'm saying? The corruption is an infection, and there's so much infection taking place around us because you all are allowing it. I'm saying you all are even sponsoring it. The community is sponsoring the corruption, okay? By giving your hard-earned money, which is a reflection of your energy. So giving the energy that you have put out, that you have gathered funds with, right? You have given your energy to people who are literally outright scamming you or who are outright engaging in corruption. And then you wonder why the world is the way it is. You dig what I'm saying? Come on, y'all. We could do better. Humanity could do better, right? I hope you all are enjoying this conversation. Maybe I need to maybe when I'm on the road more, I need to, just do some podcasts so we can have some conversations, right? May purposely take some road trips. If you all are enjoying this, I will only know if you're enjoying this by liking, subscribing, and leaving some comments in the comments section, whether it be about if you enjoy this or not, whether it be about maybe a question or a comment you want to make based on the information that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? We got to work that algorithm. And That is a whole nother subject I'm going to talk about the manipulation in social media from the social media platform perspectives. For a fact, for 100 fact, they're manipulating all of us, and I can tell you how, exactly how, and maybe in a future call that I do here, I will do that, and it'll be undeniable. So with that, going back to opening up open up an after-school program, right? And again, the reason why after-school program versus a full-on school, because they don't have the experience in that. Okay, if this person would have come to me in a communication, and based off of what I know, also based on the videos and things that I've seen online, this person does not have experience opening up something that large, right? And so we want to get out the bugs. And how we get out the bugs is by starting smaller, so that we can get the bugs out. So as we grow, it can grow in a way where nothing will pop up that will cause us distress. So pretty much, I give y'all the whole spiel. You get what I'm saying? You see how quickly I did that? And this could have been done. So let's just say the person's been scamming the community for 17 years, right? Promising they're going to do something right. This could have been done at year 1, year 2. Well, let's say the person said, "No, what? I want to gather more donations first," and that's understandable. Okay, so at year 4, it's opened up, and because the person is doing a positive thing, because the person loves to be on social media, they will talk about the positive things that they're doing. People will see the positive things that they're doing. They will see the young children, the young black boys and girls and boys being educated, becoming better, changing the curses of generations that so many people would have then put forth donations, because it's such a positive thing that is taking place, right? Undeniably positive, undeniably honorable. You get what I'm saying? And so, and many people will want to be a part of that. But instead, we get buffoonery. You get what I'm saying? We get absolute buffoonery. And let me tell you, right? So I just told you a way it could be done. The Metacenter did not do it that way. You know what I'm saying? Mostly that way. The Metacenter, for example, we hire a realtor. And see, the way that I just said, that gave you all was where you could do it on your own, right? Which is cool. And I was looking at things, let's say on Craigslist and other sites as well. And that is a fact. But I also hired a realtor. So while I was looking at things on my own, I was also hiring a realtor. And I gave the realtor our criteria of what we were looking for. And that realtor was looking for spaces as well. And I was going to spaces. That the realtor suggested. And I went to probably about 4, 5 spaces before I seen the one that we just went with in Oak Lawn, which is down the street from our original location. It's in a nice space. It's a bowling alley nearby. It's grocery stores. There's tons of food spots, theaters, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's in a nice area. It's safe and everything. So that's the one we went with for now. And we're thinking about moving into a larger space. Okay, so you all hear me? We're thinking about moving to a larger space because there are many more activities that we need. The activities and the trainings, the after school like activities, and the different STEM programs and things that we're putting forth. The people that we need more space, and that's a fact. We need more space. You know what I'm saying? And so we outgrew our space, and we need a larger space, and that's literally what I'm looking into as we speak. I've been looking into it for about a month now, a little over a month since July. The people who came to the July event, they got notice of that. That I told them they were the first to know that I am looking at a larger space, and so I hope that as the community hears what we're doing, you can go to the website, click on the testimonials, click on the past events, look at the calendar events. You can see factually and actually the programs that we put forth for the community to come to, and most of them are totally free, or the cost is so low that sometimes many of you come to me and say, hey, shouldn't you be charging? Many of you have literally come to me and said, should I be charging more? Shouldn't I be charging more? This is not enough. And my response to that, when that happens, like, I'm trying to get people out. I know that we are maybe barely covering our costs with the ticket price of this, or with the science project here. Like the science project, for example, like the Tesla project, I was buying tons of wire, everything, all the tools and things that were there, we purchased. Okay, so you all didn't have to purchase anything. When it came to, because this, let me also let you all know, it's so tiring asking for money, y'all. Maybe, like in his case of this after school program, I would also recommend a grant writer, right? So someone who can be on staff, who their whole purpose is to just find grants to keep money coming in. You get what I'm saying? Maybe the Metacenter needs to do that as well, because in some of the past projects, I get it, right? I'm not in front of the camera shucking and jiving. I'm actually doing the work. And when you're actually doing the work, it leaves little time to be on social media grandstanding. Just think about it, right? Some of you might not understand, right? Like, what do you mean? You could be on social media. Many of you work jobs and things, right? You're in your career field, right? Yes. And that career field may be demanding, right? Is your career field demanding? Many of you may say, yes, it's very demanding. And you still have to sleep. Many of you still have families and stuff, right? You still need a little bit of downtime for yourself, right? And if we add all that into the equation, does it leave time for you to be on social media? You say, no, it leaves no time at all. Actually, I'm in the negative. I have no time. Well, it's the same thing with me. I don't have a lot of time, or no time. So, like, look what I'm doing right now. I said to myself that, hey, I can, as I'm driving on the road across country, I can have a conversation with you. But once I get back, it's back to the work. I don't have a lot of time. Like right now, I have to study a few chapters right now in electronics for this in this accelerated program I'm in. You get what I'm saying? I don't have time. I wish I did. With your support, I could have more time, right? So with that, many of the programs that we put forth have been totally free or extremely low cost. You get what I'm saying? And that is due to you all's support. So if the things that I'm talking about here, beyond the metaphysics, beyond your superhuman capabilities, just the foundational stuff, right? The fact that there is someone here who is not literally scamming you, you know what I'm saying? Who is putting his best foot forward, who is looking for help, who has no problem with guidance as well. I don't know everything. I'm in school learning things. You know what I'm saying? I take side educational programs to educate myself in things that I'm maybe not 100% sure of, or that I know for a fact I can learn more in, right? I'm not a know-it-all. I know a lot, and that's a fact. But in those things that I do know a lot in, but I can still learn in all of those subjects, and that's a fact, and I do. And I am. You get what I'm saying? So, this is a shame, y'all. I mean, hopefully you can see that fire, because it irritates me that there are people who are out here doing their thing, and it's not a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? And instead, scammers are sitting here siphoning the resources of the community that can come to places like us that are actually doing things so that we can bring forth more good things to you. You dig? So continuing on, right? So I've shown you, so going back, right? So we hired a realtor. The realtor, you are paying the realtor to do that. So typically there's a fee that you're paying them for that. And they find you a space. It's simple. This is not rocket science. And it's done. And this could have been done with that person as well. You get what I'm saying? And it would have been done. You see? So you were scammed. 100% scammed. You were 100% scammed, and there was no need to be. It's been, let's say, 18 years. It's a WTF. You know what I'm saying? And even right now, some of you are still giving your hard-earned money, your donations to that. You get what I'm saying? What is going on? And this shows that it's really a reflection of the community itself. Okay? It's literally a reflection of the community itself. It's a reflection. These things are going on in every community. This one person is just one of the many people in our so-called community. And other communities have their wolves. Okay? It's a shame. It's a shame. So, shout out to everybody. As of right now, that's about it. I covered many different subjects. I hope that this was entertaining to you and for you. I hope that there was something here that you learned that was educational. I hope that you're looking forward to the next episode. I hope that I will see many of you, possibly physically, in the coming days or months. I hope that I will see many of you at the Beyond Human 2025 event in October, virtually or in person. I hope that many of you will see that the Metacenter has been here for many years, and maybe you can support in ways that will help us bring forth greater fruit. What more can I say? Shout out to you. I love all of you all. Facts. Otherwise, I would not be doing what I'm doing. You best to believe it. It's very stressful at times, right? You best to believe it. It's not an easy thing at times. The work itself, putting forth programs, things like that, that's easy. But at least easy for me anyway. But there's other aspects of, this path that most definitely can, make one a bit stressed, right? And so I appreciate everybody's support. Keep your prayers up. Keep your meditations up. Keep your well wishes up. They are well received, and I thank you very much. So until the next time we speak, take care.